Okay, so this is the test topics for the Conics section. You're going to have a total of 7 questions with varying point values. It's a total of 130 points. Some of them are going to be harder to get than others. Okay, you're going to have 2 questions, which are going to be where you're going to need to do a complete the square, to write a conic, in working form. This is what we did in shifted conics. Now they're going to get something like ax squared plus by squared plus cx plus dy plus f equals 0. And you're going to need to get it into form like x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1 if it's an ellipse. Okay? So once you get it in working form, you need to identify the conic. You're actually going to need to do that before you get it into working form to make sure you get proper working form. So identify the conic and then find the center, major vertices, if they're present. For instance, circles do not have major vertices. Ellipses have 2, hyperbolas have 2, parabolas only have 1. Foci and asymptotes if they're present. And the foci you get from the C value. Okay. We're also going to have 2 of our rotated conics. On one of them, you're going to have to find the rotated, and this is the capital X, capital Y coordinates for a point. And then the other one, I'm going to have to rotate the conic to eliminate the XY term. In other words, first thing you're going to need to do is figure out what angle you need to have to be able to eliminate that XY term. Okay. You're going to have one where you're going to be given a word problem. You're going to have to find the equation of a conic. Now, a hint on this is to use parameterization. This is a physics type of problem. You're also going to have one problem you're going to have to convert a rectangular equation to parametric form. Or I'm going to give you y is going to be some function of x, and you're going to have to come back and give me x as a function of t and y as a function of t. And then the last problem is going to be graphing a parametric and then eliminating the parameter, which is usually t. So in other words, you're going to have to be given something like x is a function of t. It'll be basically the opposite of what you had before. Y is a function of t. Then you graph these. And I suggest you use a table like we did before, where you have t, x, y. You plug values for t in, you get your x's and y's. And then eliminate the parameter. You're going to have to solve 1 and usually solve the x equation, if at all possible, for t and plug into y. And simplify and expand. Okay, and that's what you're going to be doing on your test.